Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order. You guys all ready? Ready. Is everybody
Ready.
Okay, so we're gonna call the meeting to order. And then we're going to stand and say the prayer and pledge. Thank you, God, for allowing us to be here today. Guide and direct us in all that we do and say, Lord. Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and discernment to make decisions for our city that are in line with what you have. Be here tonight. Let there be a calm and a peace in the room. And just let your presence be here. And let us do your will and serve our community to the best of our abilities. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, we'll consider approval of the minutes of the January 23rd, 2020 meeting.
There was a number of things that need to be addressed on the minutes. I'm starting out, it says on the day of, and it doesn't have a day or date, it's just got 2020. Then it has Sam Mallory as mayor, that needs to be corrected. Let's see, there's a number of places anybody had. Okay, down to call to order, it again has Sam Mallory as mayor. Oh, on the second page, it's talking about William Drake introducing himself to the council as the water plant operator with a B water license. He has a double A water license.
Okay.
So Nate Chesser is Chesher, isn't it?
Chess, two S's, H-E-R, like the game chess and then her.
Yeah, they spelled it like my name, Nate Chesser.
That's okay. I've been Nat Cheeser since I was probably 4 years old. Thank you for that, Mr. Cheshire.
Where is that at?
It's on first page, right in the
Yeah,
middle.
right in the
Others
middle.
present,
Just one S?
two is.
Two S's with an
C-H-E-S-S-H-E-R. It's totally different. Just C-H.
Chess and her.
H-E-R. Yeah, Chess.
That's all I think.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes from, what's the date of that?
The 23rd.
No, 23rd, with those changes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, any citizen who desires to address the city council on a matter not included on the agenda may do so at this time. Per the Open Meetings Act, the city council may not deliberate on items presented under this agenda item. All presentations are subject to a 3-minute time limit. Okay, at this time, the city council may consider, discuss, and authorize appointing members to the city's investment committee.
You might explain a little bit to us, so everyone's understands what the investment committee is.
What we're trying to do is, get the information, what we're going to invest and where we're going to invest it, and what's authorized by the council. So if one council member is on there, they have a better understanding of what we're dealing with. And basically for Ballinger, it's just the two pools, Tex Pool and, Techstar, and the local city bank or CDs. That's it. So if someone is on there, on the committee, then they'll understand, what we're having to do quarterly, which is provide you with a report, and they'll also understand, that we are going to issue, the quarterly reports and, their performance of the things that we've invested in. So that's about it. Just need someone from the council on the committee.
I can volunteer for that, or somebody else would rather do it like that, but it is my background, so.
What would you say that?
I don't care, I think you could pick any of us.
It's gonna be pretty limited on what you're gonna be allowed to invest in anyway.
So do we have a motion to appoint Ryan Leahy?
I make a motion that we appoint Ryan Lee.
A second.
To the
That's all in favor?
Aye.
City council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to revise the contract to add a fee for decoration time for use of the community center.
You might elaborate on that, let everybody understand what that means.
So if needed early, we're gonna charge an extra fee.
Currently, it's, $350 deposit, $350 of rent if you rent the whole community center. $175 if you rent the kitchen and that small meeting room in front. And then it says, $175 for each consecutive day. We wanted to change it to like if there's nobody in there before that day that they rented, they'd be able to go in and decorate for $75.
Like the night before.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice to have that option.
Instead of having to pay $350 or $175.
So it actually saves versus what they were.
Yeah.
How many times does that occur where they're wanting in a day early to decorate before
Actually,
Yeah.
Usually most of the time.
more often than not.
So they're charged the full 350
They're
decorations
charged-
earlier?
They're charged,
175.
$175.
So we'll be dropping it to 75.
So we'd be dropping it to 75.
Because they're just going in there to decorate.
Just to-
Yeah. If it's open.
Yeah, and if somebody else doesn't want it the day before.
How often do they overlap, you know, as far as when people want it the day before?
No, they don't.
So when you feel like they just had the taste bounty where all the churches go in there and do the taste bounty, they're gonna get charged $75 for going in there a day early that afternoon.
Versus 175.
Not for like, nonprofit organizations that do fundraisers. It's just for like, yeah, family reunions and stuff like that.
That's clarification I was looking for. Good.
So we don't charge, we do not charge a date and alcohol.
No,
As long as that stays consistent, I'll make a motion.
Do you have any more questions on it? Anything? I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the city council may consider, discuss, and authorize action for the Ballinger Volunteer Fire Department and Ballinger Police Department to apply for a communications grant through West Central Texas COG. Council.
All we're really asking to do is go in with the whole county and, going for 100% grant, for the infrastructure grants. That's basically just gonna be towers, repeaters, station units, units that are basically gonna be like here at City Hall, fire station, FPD. It's not gonna be handhelds or anything like that. It is a 100% grant. And like I said, we've come together and we'd like to approach this as a whole county. That includes ISDs and everything. So, it's the State Emergency Communications Infrastructure Grant, is what it's called, and it is a 100% grant.
Who's writing it? More higher waters and what, you know?
It'll be us and the council of government will help us out with that.
I don't have a problem.
No more cost anywhere for it? I make a
No
motion.
bidding, no coupons needed, nothing like that.
Can't spend 100,000 to get the extra 30,000.
It's everyone else.
I mean, there is, y'all, as a council, would have to go through some training, some NIMS training, I do believe, to make sure we are still eligible for this grant. So, like
100, 200, 700,
yeah,
800,
they're all, as far as I know, they're all online, and we can send you the link and.
45 minutes each.
There's no cost for us to get that training.
No, sir. It's online.
Jeff said he would take it.
It only has to be, only has to be some, not all.
I think I'm already said so.
I think I heard taken care of.
I think
Is it those 4 groups?
Yeah, basically, she has to have other things than they need. All they need is 100, 200, 700, and it should be enough for y'all.
Okay, there was, okay, sorry.
Well, we should have that anyway, so do we have a motion to approve that?
I make a motion that, we authorize action for Ballinger Fire Department, Volunteer Fire Department and Ballinger Police Department to apply for communications grant through West Central Texas Congress.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
City council may consider, discuss, and authorize approval of the contract with Conterra Networks to place fiber optic lines from Brock Highway 158 to Strong Avenue to Tolliver Brothers.
Wow. Second. Yes. Have you read through this?
I drafted that up, this is what I drafted up for them. Now, what they provided us in your packet is their chapter 283 application that we provided the last time for them to complete.
Right.
They have completed that.
Which means basically they will pay
Us through the state, any access lines, that will be our quote unquote franchise fee. And then, basically what I drafted up, which was handed to you, is a license agreement for them to be in our right of way. Basically, the right of way is indicated on their plans.
They basically, it'd be a 20-year agreement. We essentially try to protect this as far as, you know, if we have to relocate, widen the street, something like that, then basically they would have to move their facilities, it wouldn't be at our cost. Also, we can follow all laws, they install in snow regulations.
They identify us if there's any kind of accident or damage, other facilities or personal property while they're installing. If we don't see, they have to pay, reimburse us over their indemnity agreement. And they also have insurance that they provided us in the package there as well. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Essentially is, they've got to give us plans, gotta work with us, to right inspect, observe how they're doing it. They're supposed to avoid any other utilities, including ours or any others that vary. They have to go through the big test for the 911, 811. So, basically, it's just trying to make sure that they're using the right way, that we know what they're doing it right, and that's the gist of the agreement. I provided to them, I suspect they'll have probably some changes to it, or suggested changes to it.
I did a cursory review, I don't see anything objectionable.
Yeah, like I said, I've done this agreement similar to it for Unite,
Yeah, man.
Is it allow for revisions of the plans?
he just says we'll approve the plans, so whatever those are, ultimately will be.
So if y'all bring revisions to us, I mean, that's good.
Yes.
There's, you know, a couple things just for your understanding as well, Madam Mayor, that, council people, it says here that it's all directional boring in town, so we're not gonna come in with trenchers, rock saws, and any of that type of equipment that opens it up. You set in, you drill, it makes it nice and pretty and clean, because you have one point to the next point, it's only places where you have a hole, and then restoration. There's a lot less restoration. And then a quick question, just on the construction side, if y'all did, or you can put me in touch with whoever, it does say that, the restoration is to spec for the city code. I need to know that spec, so we can make sure that if you're, you know, you want rebar and 5,000 PSI concrete, or you want cold patch first, then we need to come back and hot patch in the camp. So there's a couple things there, you just have to give me some details, and then I'll make sure that, and as far as boring in town is the way to go. You don't want everybody opening up trenches, because then you have trench failure, and then it rains, and then you got a funny little ditch and all that type of stuff. So boring throughout town is not a problem. We're gonna get it clean, we're gonna be careful, and all my people, they work with 811 all the time. And I know every utility, I know their boss, and so we work with those people to make sure there's not any issues as far as getting through
They
stuff.
don't follow the dates asking what it knows.
Yeah, we run them along, so they have really good professional contractors.
For clarification, for some of the ones who haven't seen what you've laid out, they're coming down all the way to Hutchins, there at the red light, crossing the street, going down to Misty's, Main Street, turning and going down to Strong. That's all textile stuff. Then they're on Strong, that's where they started in the city, and they're gonna be pouring down Strong, all the way down to the block where Bagwell's station is, and then turning, coming back up to Hutchins, and then turning and going across in front of Tolliver's and under the river.
When we do go under the river, I've already spoke with engineering too, that's a pretty critical shot, and we'll leave behind some duct bank. That way the next time somebody comes through and wants to get through your territory, you'll be able to look at them and be like, you need to call Frontier, if they already have a duct bank there, we'd rather you prefer not to mess with our river. So I know that Mostech, I deal with those guys and a lot of their contractors, they just came through there, with some pipeline. When we come through, we'll leave behind some extra pipe that makes it easy on anybody else who comes developing infrastructure through here. They'll be able to buy or lease a duct from us, so they don't have to set up and shoot a critical shot like that again.
I guess as long as you, and you alluded to this already, as long as y'all are able to do good traffic control,
Absolutely.
leave it all nice and clean, I think we'll be all right.
Yes, sir. We'll provide a traffic control plan with the application.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you, during the last weather spat 2 weeks ago, or week and a half ago, I had a lady, on 183, and we had signs out and we had cones. She bumped into a real trailer and knocked the tire off the car, went through the fence. Nobody was hurt, luckily, But the next day, company-wide, to every single contractor in the Central Texas region, I sent out a message that if you don't have above and beyond at least Texas regulation on traffic control, when I pull up on your site, I'm gonna run you off and shut you down for 48 hours. Because I'm not gonna deal with it. It'd break my heart if somebody got run over. And so, my men are gonna get through and do their job, and I wanna make sure they get home to their families safe. That's the most important thing to me. And to do that, we're gonna have more cones than necessary out there. And, you know, I'm personally big on if your sign's still up and you're not working, I'm gonna take it with me, because you shouldn't be controlling traffic when you're not there working. Maybe people get desensitized to those signs being up. So they're up when we're working, they're down when we're not, and we'll have more, my guys aren't to get out of the truck without setting the cone down, so. We definitely, I'm picky about that, especially after, you know, having a safety incident just recently, they've all been warned. And so anytime you drive past my guys, they've gone and invested in another 20 or 30 minutes just to make sure that they're not making me unhappy.
The only thing I'd like to add is kind of what Rick Morris said, is, you know, as far, especially being on people's personal property, you know, just, I'd like that put in there somewhere to where it gets put back as close as possible as the original condition.
We can put it back as good, better. If your driveway's dirt and somebody runs it up, we're gonna grade it. If it's clean, and for some reason we damaged it, I'm gonna dump a dump truck on it and smooth it out. If it's asphalt, it's getting replaced to asphalt, is concrete, so. Obviously, as a company, we don't have the ability to come to and pour everybody in town and bring a concrete driveway. You know, but if whatever the original material was, it'll get put back to that as if it was new if we damage it. And there's also a situation with driveways where never will we go through somebody's driveway. It's just rude. And so we're not trenching through anybody's driveway. Every single place of driveway is definitely gonna be a bore all the way to Braun. And so, and if there's a culvert, we're also gonna be 50 foot either side, each side of the culvert too, just as spec regulation. So, there shouldn't be any reason why we have any damage of any driveways. Sometimes when it's wet, you know, some of my guys pull in and out or need to park right there for a second. And I do get a call every now and again. And so we make those people happy. Let's say, okay, we need that cleat sheet and we're gonna come and dump some road base here and smooth it out, pack it for you. We have the equipment there already, so I don't want to handle that.
More than 6 gauge, you shouldn't have too much trouble.
That's
Tearing up in the house, but,
well, if it gets a little moist, you get a big 25,000 pound boring machine on tracks. It will get it in and out some places, cause some. But, you know, we're gonna make sure that we're not only, obeying all TCEQ regulations when it comes to stormwater prevention plans. You know, when we're drilling, the water gets backed up as it goes, and runoff everywhere into the waterways and everything. You know, I have my guys know that if it's, put some hay down if they need to, and burn it up for whatever situation, if there's a waterway close by. You know, we get the, and when it comes to, when it's torn up and done, we make everybody come back, rake it, pack it, tamp it, so it looks pretty. And so, I'm not releasing anybody until they achieve my standards. And,
We'll make sure you're happy with the end result before we leave town, so to speak.
I've been involved in some of this.
Yes, sir.
So-
A good side effect though is when I unleash my guys to come in here and get this project done, they're gonna rent half a dozen hotel rooms and buy lots of diesel fuel and lots of snacks at the gas stations and burritos at Stripes and so forth, so a little infusion into the local environment.
In that same note, you were talking that this will allow in the future possibly some additional sales tax coming in from anybody who wants to tag on or piggyback off Bill's fiber line there. Who else has what we're gonna have in the area? So we're gonna have a competition in this area.
Right now, I'm not sure about anybody that has fiber optic.
44 count this size, there's not gonna be many people. You mentioned you worked with UNAC before, UNAC's mostly brought through a 96 count. 144, it will be installed in the situation, like I just got off the phone with our director, and we just got in touch with Verizon, and we're coming with 5G small cell into the ESC 15, you know, the Central Texas market, and we'll see how that goes. Now, I mean, there's no promise that I'm gonna have, you know, 25 small cell Verizon. I don't have that kind of swing, but because the pipe is available for the high-speed data transfer. They can come in with small cell and bring you 5G, but Verizon, if you only have AT&T here, well, Verizon's now got 5G here, you're gonna switch. There's gonna be a lot of people that switch. Those sales taxes. are
You know,
gonna
the
be-
small cell, that's land and,
they gotta set up towers, they gotta
Right.
lease stuff from people. And then the services themselves, the premiums, there's, the sales tax of 8.25, and you also cut that situation.
yeah, I just wanted to show you.
Yeah.
And typically, when we put fiber in the market, we have extra fiber, like Nate mentioned, and, when the opportunity arises, then we'll have an enterprise sales team that'll help develop that and help increase the ability for you to generate commerce in your community by having that additional bandwidth available for us to make available, and, then where tax revenue comes off of those individuals. So.
And usually, the end user, the resident of the area is gonna benefit from the fiber being there. Like, Echo Wireless has a slow product, and they know it, and they're not gonna be able to compete. If things come in that are faster, they're Barnwood Bangs, smaller regional, radio system for people to stream Netflix at home. And they've already approached me, and they're like, man, we need a 1 gig circuit on multiple towers so we can double our speeds, because people in Brooksmith and these little towns like Bangs and such, they want to be able to have that availability. And that's something that is readily, I was talking to the two gentlemen the last time they were here, and they were highly interested in, well, could we get a node? Can we get a circuit? And then from there, they can deliver, a small town entrepreneur can say, perfect, I have a 1 gig circuit now, and can deliver residential availability off of that. We're not trying to be in that business. We're here for the government entities, the schools, and the large commercial capture stuff.
Right.
And so we'll bring the availability for other people to be able to begin commerce here again.
I know we have some fiber going through town, because it goes right along 67,
Correct.
Founder Home Health is connected into it. but-
He has a new fiber plant.
We also have a fiber lab out here by the fertilizer place.
In the high school.
Yeah.
So it's here, I don't know about it.
He included this for electronic telemetry for substations and things like that. I know that one's been, people are co-loading in that stuff, but we got into that opportunity to it.
Do we have a motion to accept? Approve?
I'll make that motion, we approve this contract with Contrara, collect fiber optic line.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Gotcha.
If you need us, y'all get through the route.
Run as fast as I can. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. City Council may consider, discuss, and authorize the award of a contract for a Type 5 truck related to Fast Grant number 7219036.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is David Dowd with Public Management. There's a few new faces since we submitted this application. Just a little bit of recap. I hope all of y'all have been able to review the memo and bid tabulation that should be in your packets. What happened about a year ago is Texas Department of Agriculture created a brand new program for fire vehicles and equipment. And it's called the FAST Grant. I cannot stress enough how brand new this is. The state is making up the rules as they go along. Okay? Nonetheless, this program was provided to communities in Texas, smaller rural communities, to purchase these new vehicles and equipment. City of Ballinger applied. They received a grant award. I think the official start date was October 1 of 2019. Once we got the contract, the formal contract in hand, state went over some of the preliminary rules. We went out to bid on a Type 5 brush truck and a Type 3 pumper truck. That is what this grant the city received allowed funds for the city and the fire department to purchase. So we went out to bid for the Type 5 and Type 3 trucks. We opened bids on January 24th, so a couple weeks ago, a week ago now. January 24th for both of these vehicles. I will begin with before proceeding, the city will maintain the title of these vehicles, after the vehicles are delivered. The city had to enter into a unique interlocal agreement with the fire department for this project, that kind of stipulates out everybody's terms and requirements and all that. So the city will retain, ownership of the vehicle, the title to the vehicles, but obviously the fire department will be the ones to use the vehicle, as they are the emergency responders. So we opened bids for both vehicles, beginning with the top 5 truck. We did receive 2 bids, one from Steel and Daco. Kind of read how the bids came in. After consultation with the attorney as well as Mr. Langston with the fire department, it is our recommendation that the city awards the top 5 trucks to Steel Fire Apparatus for $176,500. This is within the grant budget. I can go off into more weeds. If y'all have any questions, myself or Robert would be happy to.
Looking at the numbers being off, those aren't apples to apples quotes, so if you're wondering about that.
So a couple of things about the bid tab. That is the main and most important thing. During that review, you can see that Daco did come in lower than Steel did, but like Robert said, whenever you dig into the specs, whenever you review the bid and the samples they provided, they weren't even, and frankly, in some instances, Daco didn't bid to spec, and we did not receive any questions, comments from Daco regarding the bids. That was part of the bidding process, and if you have any questions, please let us know. One other key thing about the top 5 bid is that we did stipulate a anticipated 3-month delivery schedule. Okay, that was discussed previously with Robert and Tommy, and I believe Tommy talked to it with Pat about as well. After the bids came in, I did get back with Pat. Here's kind of what came in, here's the bid tab, here was the expectation. Between both the specs that Daco bid as well as their delivery schedule, that is the opinion is, they weren't what was the term there? Compliant bidder. There we go. A compliant bidder.
When will the money hit? When will we be responsible for this?
Yeah, so Robert and I discussed that a little bit. All right, up there at the top of the memo, that is the grant budget, okay? And so the city's cash match share is $5,000, okay? Caveat to that, if we get into the final fabrication of either of these vehicles, really just the top 3 pumper, if we get into the final fabrication and there are some tweaks and changes, there may be additional cost associated to that. We feel confident today that if there are additional costs, those would be minimal. But there is $5,000 cash match. The city can extend that $5,000 on the top 5 truck purchase, which would be soon, or you could extend that match on the top 3 truck purchase, which is, we're looking at delivery 12 months from today, and so that would be next budget year.
So it's due upon delivery,
Yes, sir.
so we have a little room to run with.
Yeah, there may be some negotiation about an upfront kind of materials cost, more so on the top 3 and top 5. But that'll be negotiated. So after tonight, I'll notify the awarded vendors how y'all got the award. Here's kind of the process moving forward. Whenever we have the pre-con or the design meeting or whatever with the vendors, then we'll discuss payment options. In the sample contract bid out, there was express language of, withholding a certain percentage until the truck was delivered. I can't remember if that was 50 or 80%.
I talked somewhere around 80%.
Yeah.
And we would retain until it was approved and
Yeah.
accepted.
Yeah.
I think he was asking how windows and with the city needs to pay
That
for
$5,000.
it, basically how long would they need to, well, from the Department of Agriculture. When will they receive funds and that's payment?
Okay. All right, so, and that is a good point. What's gonna happen after tonight, so the top 5 and top 3 are going on very different schedules after tonight, right? The top 5, I'll notify the awarded vendor, let's get going. I will then send the draft contract over to Still, or the awarded vendor, make sure that they're fine, if they have any questions about the clauses. If they don't have any questions, they will partially execute that contract. I will copy the city, I'll send it to the city or send it to the attorney, have him do a final review, that's part of this grant process. And then the city will execute it. For the top 5, we'll probably schedule a meeting very quickly, possibly at the vendor's facility to inspect the vehicle and pick it up, essentially. And then they'll give us an invoice, a payout. We'll submit that to the state. They'll review it. Typically takes about 30 days from the time I get a vendor invoice to the time the state disperses those funds, and the city will issue payment at that time. Yes, sir.
So the total out of pocket for the city for the 2 trucks is $5,000, plus or minus change orders.
Correct.
We don't anticipate any.
No, right.
So the 35,000 for the grant administration, it's built into that 470?
It is built into the total 500. So this is a total $500,000 grant.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Did you guys already have,
Yeah, we sold that, we
already had that $5,000 in hand, right?
And we got rid of the old ladder truck, we took that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That goes to 475, would make that 470 is what we would be spending on the actual truck, so we wouldn't be building any more than $470,000. We don't anticipate it, that is, I mean, we've got our quotes, they're gonna be set on timeframes. Any change orders that are done are gonna be manufacturing type change orders as far as dates, not necessarily changing something on the truck.
Right, you're not customizing it, you're just talking just updates or something, manufactured updates, or spare stuff.
You know, as far as,
Bucket seats. Nice.
So, yeah, we'll be okay as far as the 470 goes with where we're at. Still have been nothing but accommodating with the questions that we've had coming back, or like, will it cost us zero? Will it cost us zero?
And let me make sure I'm clear, we already have the 5,000 match? Okay. Right, you have a question?
Yes, so is there a minimum or minimum amount of time we have to hold on to the vehicles? Like, so it's keep somebody from just applying for the grant?
Oh, yeah. Well, so that's 2 separate questions. It is written into the interlocal agreement as well as the grant contract. I can't remember off the top of my head if the city has to retain ownership for 5 years or 10 years. There is a clause, I believe, in both the city's contract with the state as well as the city with the fire department. But there is a required expectation. The second part of that question, I do expect that this program will be coming up again this year. However, since we got a grant this past year, we'll probably get deducted. And so that's really kind of how they balance out who gets these awards. So it's not necessarily, hey, you got this in the last 3 years, you're not eligible to apply for this again. It's just you're going to lose points, and so your likelihood of getting funding goes down.
So is this an important vehicle for y'all to have?
Well, the one that's a year out is the real important. And he's using the term pumper, but that is gonna be our rescue vehicle. So we'll have all types of rescue equipment on it, from motor vehicle accidents to anything needed for any kayak rescue, boat, swiftwater rescue, all of that will be on that truck. So,
I know money's already in hand, but just for clarification purposes, that 5 is due upon the receipt of the first vehicle or both final?
As of right now, whichever you
Whichever
choose.
you choose.
Now,
There's no-
again, I cannot emphasize this enough, the state is making these rules up as they go.
So pay it now?
They may get really stupid and very, unprecedented and say that, hey, this is a large invoice, you gotta go ahead and pay your match on this invoice. They haven't done that in the past. Having said that, this is brand new, they're making the rules up as they go. So,
Cash at hand, there's really.
yeah, if,
But we already have it,
if
right?
y'all have it, I don't see a concern either way.
There's no reason.
If I was y'all, I may prefer to go ahead and just pay it, and that's one less thing I gotta remember.
I agree.
Okay, so tonight we're approving
So-
the
Type 5 and type 3, and so this action item is to award the type 5 truck contract to Steel Fire Apparatus.
right. All right. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the awarding of type 5 to Steel.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. City council may consider, discuss, and authorize the award of a contract for type 3 pumper truck related to past grant 7219036, which we already basically heard.
It's gonna be the same thing, Steel did come in as the low bidder on this one. There is also a different expected delivery schedule from the bidders. And so Steel came in lower cost as well as anticipated quicker delivery than DACO did. Digging into it again, there were several things that, were irksome or raised concern to both myself and Robert when reviewing DACO's bid. And so it is recommended that the city award the type 3 pumper to Steel Fire Apparatus. Again, this is within budget.
Do I have a motion?
Is that what, Robert?
293.5 is what we did.
Yeah, there's nothing we really want to do with that, really. So this little skid. It's steel. So,
I think the Steel is awarded to Steel, both of them, and then they're going to work it hand in hand.
exactly.
Steel, go through there, go see what's going on.
Yeah.
I think it'll be more cohesive contract.
We're gonna make a motion to accept.
Yeah, I make a motion we accept award of contract to Steel for the type 3 pump.
I'll second. All in favor?
Uh,
Thank you.
Not done quite yet.
Oh, you're not done? Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. I apparently think I am.
Did y'all take a vote?
On those two, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we did. I'll just-
Distracted myself, I apologize.
And now we'll consider and take necessary action to adopt a resolution reaffirming and adopting necessary civil rights and fair housing policies associated with the city's TX CDBG grant.
Okay, and so this is a different grant that the city currently has. This is a street grant. My coworker, Lisette Howard, is the main point of contact on this for the city. These are my favorites too. But earlier, so I'm going off memory. Oh, here we go. And so, again, I know a lot of y'all probably weren't on council whenever the city applied for this. about this time last year, but the city has received a $275,000 grant for street reconstruction. Several streets in kind of this northwestern part of the city that is anticipated to be completed with force count in-kind labor is how the city anticipates making up its required match obligation for that. So tonight we're going through the startup actions for that grant, which includes reaffirmation and adoption of these civil rights policies. Y'all that have been on council for a little while, these may look familiar to you. This is required for all CDBG-related Texas Department of Agriculture grants, all right? The packet tonight, we are adopting one policy, the limited English proficiency policy, and reaffirming 6 other policies that the city has previously adopted. As a matter of fact, the city adopted all of these, it looks like, 2 months ago. It's a silly little rule, but it's the silly little rules that we have to follow to get the money. So again, these are the required policies. The city already has these on the books. And so just a motion to adopt this resolution. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Just for a little clarification, back when we first applied for this and everything, when the lady from the Department of Agriculture came, we all went, toured the whole thing and actually had made a map of the streets over in that direction, the worst to the best. And she took pictures of all these streets and roads and jumped up and down. They're well aware of the streets, and we do have a map of, that we have color coded from the worst streets to the best streets where we can start. If we get this people and get this done. We've got a plan.
I can get it back to you.
No, English proficiency plan is responsible for it.
So,
With this plan, that's who's responsible.
yeah, so with that, that really just applies first to this grant specifically, and only a few key documents of that. We will provide the city all translated copies of those documents that are applicable. If y'all have any other requests, let us know, and we'll assist the city getting those translated.
As in public meetings conducted in multiple languages.
Yeah,
So is that,
as far as that goes, I mean, the city needs to, the other thing is that is upon request, how that should be drafted. And so I assume there's somebody local that can speak Spanish.
so if they were to come in and request it from the council during a particular meeting, we need to have somebody.
It shouldn't be during a particular meeting. Those types of requests are usually made in advance of the meeting, sir.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the resolution referring and adopting necessary civil rights and fair housing policies associated with the city's CDBG grants.
All in favor? Thank you. City council may consider, discuss, and authorize a presentation from Snyder Technology for IT services.
Good evening.
Randy?
How's everyone?
Good.
I'll make it pretty short and sweet, just like me. I met with the previous administrator. He remembered the meeting we had there wasn't short. So, previous to his departure, I had been out, went through the building here and talked to one of your police officers. I believe that was you that day. Okay? And went through your environment here. And basically what we bring to the table is an IT team. We have 15 technicians in San Angelo, and we've got 3 support staff. And I'm not commission-based, so just so you're here, I'm not here selling you a commission for me. I'm here to sell you a solution for the city. I spent many a day in Brown County, served on the early school board for 12 years. We love small towns, and Snyder Technology is all about doing the best job possible for you as possible. Did I say that twice? I did, didn't I? So, what you have before you is that there's 4 plans there to fit your needs and your budget. And when we talked the other day, the 4 plans, basically they go up in cost, but as you go up in plans, it includes more labor. So the bottom plan there is just, it's a bronze plan. Do I need to go into any detail on any plans? Do you have any questions for me?
What do you feel our city would need in these plans?
Based on our conversation, if I was here full time, if I was sitting where you guys are sitting, I would say the silver, because you have some hands-on that can do some things hands-on here for you. If we need to say, hey, go do this, plug, power off the switch, or whatever it might be, you have some hands here that can do that. So with the silver, you get an 8x5, Monday through Friday, unlimited support. You call us, one of our technicians answers the phone. We have management software on every computer. We remote in with your permission. We find out what's going on. We fix the issue and let you go back to work. So that's how that would work. So it doesn't matter if you call us 50 times during that month. It's one set price. We want your environment to be managed and secure. So with our proposal, it also includes the top of the line, the best security software that's out there. So,
What if we did the silver plan, but we do have to have you come out for something? How does that go to hourly?
yes, sir. Then you incur the $75 per hour for travel.
From time you
Yeah, so you're looking at, it's like hour and 45. I don't think it's about 2 hours.
You're located where?
In San Antonio. And so you're looking at that, and then you're looking at a reduced hourly rate of $110 an hour. So if we come out for 2 hours, it's $220 plus the travel. Now, what I will do for the city, we have multiple customers here in the area. The Buddy's Plant Plus, Tracy Nichols Convenience Store, the county, the Charity Title, and there's a few more I'm forgetting. So we're here in the area, and so if we're here, I'm going to work with the owner, Jason Snyder, who does all the invoicing. If we happen to be here for another customer, we're not going to charge each customer a full with that other customer. Or if they call us first and we just give it to whoever, and then we'll charge appropriately. But what I'm gonna do for you the first year is make sure, because I know where y'all are at right now, and to help stretch your dollars as much as we can to where you don't have to incur those if at all possible. Now, if you have a need, like in your police department, you need us to come out, it's after hours, we need to get here, we'll get here, and then your overtime rates would apply and your travel would apply. The only way to avoid those would be the platinum plan. So that includes everything, travel, unlimited support. It doesn't matter when you call us. If you replace the computer, that labor is included also. So it gives you, if you get to that point, it gives you an option to budget, a good firm budget for the year for your technology, except for major projects. The counties, we do about 11 counties that way, and they love that plan.
So what is your overtime rate?
Overtime is 135.
135.
We do have after-hour technicians through the whole week, through the weekend, whenever you might need us.
And if we go with the silver right now, but later we discover we probably better go with the platinum or the gold, we can upgrade at any time?
Yes, ma'am.
Or we can downgrade at any time?
You have to stay within the limits of the agreement, which is 1 year. So if you start at silver and you move up to gold, then you have to stay there for a year.
So what if we went
To platinum,
from silver down to,
it would be,
it's still the same?
yeah, you got a year that you're committing to tonight, if you decide to go.
We will just change it down.
Yes, sir.
So, but if you go up, do you have over?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned in the proposal here about hardware and software, you guys procure all that
Yes.
at our cost, but you guys, you know,
Yes,
your expertise to bring.
Absolutely. The other thing that we bring to the table is we want to be your trusted IT advisor. We want you to be able to pick up the phone and call us. It's not going to cost you anything. So you have the technology advocate working for you, like whatever technology projects come your way. We can be that advocate for you. If I need to be here, if we need to have an engineer here, we need to meet with different companies. There's no charge for that with an agreement.
So if we do a project, I know it's outside of the scope of
Correct.
these prices, right? And we need hardware.
Mhm.
Do we purchase the hardware ourselves, or do you provide the hardware?
It'll give you a price for the hardware, like your server would be one of the first projects we'd like to get out of the way. We give you a price for the hardware and the install, travel, set price, and that's what the price would be for that project.
Okay.
And we figure in the reduced hourly rate, as opposed, because you have an agreement. So it's gonna, say if it was a 20-hour project, you're saving $200 there by having an agreement.
So if we do a project and we purchase our own hardware, does that change anything?
No, ma'am, but we will give you the specs. We don't make much off the hardware, but we want to make sure it's spec'd out appropriately.
Right.
So you don't get caught with having to buy something else or upgrade.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but if we found it at a lower cost,
Yes, we'll give you the, yes,
we're good, as long as we match the spec.
yes, we'll give you the specs. We're not hiding anything from you.
Okay.
So when you say one of the first projects you'd like to do is our server, are we looking at right up, well,
You have an existing physical server right now that's here, and I think it was like 7 years old. And right now, you're at risk of losing data because of the age and the type of backups that you do. All the plans include a 180 for backup, and that's an image backup of that server. This is an hourly image. That's an actual image. And if that server goes down, we spin that image up in the cloud. This is the lowest end device that we have in our backup line, but it'll still an image we can spin the image up in the cloud, get the server up and running, and then it will put any changes back to the server that were made while it's in a virtual environment in the cloud.
how much does a server cost? And did we budget for that?
You're looking at, this server here, you're looking at, probably 8,000 to 10,000 with installing licenses. So that's a good ballpark. We did a lot of leasing, and, we probably did at least 80 to 100 servers last year.
And what that would give us is a mirror image there, not having to spin to the cloud, and be a lot faster.
And also, we won't be doing the backup tapes.
Correct. And we monitor those. And when that image goes up to the cloud, it's all secure. Anything we bring before you has been through the Department of Public Safety and their stringent code for any kind of security, because we work in a lot of counties with sheriff's offices. So it's all secure, and it passes any kind of compliance for data at rest or in travel to the backup location.
Staff recommends silver at this point.
Are we looking at,
Is it monitored for y'all to be able to tell if somebody was trying to access our service?
Now, that would come down with the router that I would recommend to put in place here, in that we would have definite grades reports for you, and this device would keep out the majority of the stuff that doesn't need to get into your network.
It's not included in this.
No, so that would be one of the first projects, just the router and the server. The router is, you're talking under 1,000 with install, and there's a $50 monthly fee for that.
so this money that we're looking at spending that he says we need to do right up front is not in this year's budget. Are we considering a budget revision to do those things, or are we looking at pushing that
Where are we
into
currently
next?
in our IT budget though? Does
It-
that
it-
include personnel? Well, you don't.
This is critical, is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
After your assessment,
Yes, ma'am.
we're at a critical status.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
We don't move money from salaries into contracts like this.
Mhm.
So it would be a budget amendment, but we're saving the salary in another place.
I see, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay,
asking.
I was just making sure we weren't creeping out of.
Yeah, he came in and said, hey, what, have I got a deal for you?
That's two
You've
birds,
been, you've been paying,
that's two birds less salary.
Okay.
Have y'all thought about the police department in
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
It's all been included, right?
Yeah.
You're included.
Well, I
They've
mean, no, what I'm
taken
talking
into
about is, we need a server over there. We
Your
have,
own server?
we have 6 individual computers and no server.
Um,
And we're running off a hard drive.
what type of, internet connection do you have there?
When you plug in the wall.
That's really
First of all, if I may,
Yes, sir.
currently I'm building an intranet overlay at the same time I'm coming through town. And instead of internet services, the intranet being a network that will link law enforcement to fire main, to city hall. And it's a secure fiber that lets you, if you answer the phone and you need fire one running down the road, you can do it on a secure setup. And it provides, and you can vouch for the amount of security that an internet provides. I'll take a look at this map, and if you can get with me, Buck, about 3 or 4 locations that you definitely want on an internet.
we get two.
As I build this, I can do my best to make sure that we get proper planning before we come through town to make sure that we're working in partnership with y'all.
Right.
Because then you can bring your IT specialist in to give you a server, internet services, and then we can provide get out internet services to it. I probably overlaid, I have 5,000 to 7,000 foot to finish an intranet system that the city of Brownwood would have spent about 1.2 million on. And it'll wind up costing them maybe 50 grand to complete it.
That's
And
nice.
then they'll have a 20-year life, and they're ecstatic about it. Because it will have the city hall, the airport, city services building with the maintenance department. They'll all be able to dump their files on their shared server, and it's secure. And then you'll be able to get access to get the internet if you need it. But the city pretty much, it doesn't let any outside entity be able to try to compromise your data or your data.
It's intranet.
Right.
Intranet, exactly. So
Be a fiber.
More than virtually private.
if you can shoot me an email of your top 4 locations, I'll get with engineering, and then we'll say, hey, you know what, not a problem, I can drop a handful here and then give you the fiber that you need.
If we could have the fire hose fiber, we could have the server at the other location mirroring both.
You can have it wherever at that point, you can share a lot more resources.
Right.
Yeah, you can share more resources that way, phone system, internet
And
connection.
it's not here. If fire burns this place down, we've got
I
backup.
got some redundancy you can build in. Yes, sir.
Will we have a VPN?
We can at any point. That's what our, I'm going in this direction. Yeah.
We need.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we can, there's ways of connecting you. It doesn't matter where the server is. We just need to look at your internet connections between the 2 buildings.
I mean, I know me and us in the fire department, we share a router, and it goes straight to wherever our provider is.
You know, the speed on it.
No,
Okay.
very slow.
Okay.
So, I mean, a lot of our stuff is web-based,
Okay.
like our body cam, they upload it to the cloud,
Okay.
but then we have to download,
Right. That's
but it would report, and so that's why I'm kind of wanting a server, so that way I can hold on to those reports and not have to burn on a disk or anything like that.
And what we do for the sheriff's office, we have these things called network attached storage. And this box that sits on your network, but it's also a backup device. It's the same thing. So what it does for you is it allows you to have some secure shared folders on here that are also getting backed up.
Okay.
And it works out great for the sheriff's offices that will take care of it. So I just need to do a little legwork and then see what the solution looks like for you guys there.
I just don't get about it.
Yes.
So on the money issue, where we were paying an IT guy, what were we paying him a year?
40.
40 of them plus the benefits and everything else that goes along with it. On the silver plan, we're looking at 12,000 a year. We're still saving money. We may have to do a revision or an amendment to move the money, but we're not paying out additional money. And we can't leave our network.
Well, that's a great step to take, if you can't, move up to, I don't know that I would, if you went to gold, I'd say just do platinum, because then you're 24/7, 365, travel. So at this point, silver gets you started with us, we get things secure, we get things running smooth, get the backup taken care of, then we start looking at projects. And in the future, if you see, hey, let's go platinum, because we want to budget this for the year. We don't want these invoices coming in for travel, replacing computers, and that way you can budget that number, and it's still way under that, just a single IT person doing it.
On the backup, if I go into a cloud, would it be possible just to put it back up to another spare server for emergencies instead of having to pay a monthly fee?
Well, here's what this device does. It sits here by the server, so it's doing that hourly image. So we're gonna lose it maxing out. So it also detects, virus stuff and ransomware to let us know if it's any type of issue there. It's also a quick restore process, because especially if it's right here. And even, it's also business continuity. And for 18, it's like 108 times 12 for the year to protect your data. It's not only secured, it backs up, it's also a business continuity. And so within 15 minutes, we have you running off of the server in the cloud, and people aren't, don't have staff here just unable to do some of their work. So.
And sorry, we just had a network installed in our business about 3 years ago, but that seems really high for a server. Is that?
That includes labor. That includes labor. So the hardware itself is going to probably be around 5 to 6, and it could be 3,000, 3,500 for the install, because there's lots to do on the install. We're actually going to change the environment from one physical server to one. We'll have one physical host server, but 2 virtual servers running inside there. Active Directory for your security piece, and then file shares and applications from them.
Did we, this is the only bid, essentially, for lack of a better term. You don't have to have multiple bids for.
Well, yeah, I know, but.
It's the cheapest I've seen.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going after.
We had
Still need to be competitive.
We had 28 seats, computers, the 100 Gs. Where I came from. Of course, that's awesome.
Okay, you appreciate it. I'd ask you. All right, we got folks here to work with.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve Snyder Technology for IT services?
I make a motion that we approve Snyder Technologies for IT services.
For the silver.
For the silver plan. Silver, yes. Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
The 3 legal documents, I'll just move back at some point, and we can start anytime, and it's prorated, you start in the beginning, or in the middle, anytime.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, council will consider and take necessary action to adopt a resolution designating authorized signatories for the CDBG grant 7219019.
This is my final one for the night. This is just who was authorized to sign contracts as well as pay applications and invoices. This does mirror what the city currently has on file with the FAST fire truck grant. Mayor, city manager for contracts, mayor, pro tem, city manager, and secretary for pay apps and draw requests. And so, city agrees with those positions, just approval and move down the road.
Should we put maybe someone from the fire department on as well?
So this is gonna be for the street grant.
Oh,
Yes, sir. I apologize.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? That was fast.
Appreciate it. Myself and Lisette Howard will be following up with Buck and Bonita about the street grant, and I'll be contacting the vendor, working with Robert to get everything going with the trucks. Appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you. Have a good evening. City Council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve the K-9 handler contract with Justin Amaro.
Justin's about to get ready to work, so you can't do that. So, but his attorney did look over everything was kosher, so, he did say that Justin wanted like a 2-year contract through this, and I talked to Pat a little bit about it, on where to stick it in there. Well, I mean, I was trying to get him 5 years.
So we're down to 2 years now? Versus the 3 to 5 that we originally wanted?
2 years.
Being wise, we don't, not agreeing for 2 years.
Not sure.
Who wanted it to be 2 years versus?
Well, I mean, it was always been talked around, so 2 and 3.
It was always 3 to 5 on this side.
Okay.
What's standard, Pat? What have you seen?
Yeah, what have you seen in other places?
4.
Yeah.
4, no. Oh. Or the contract length for the. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What do you say? Oh, yeah. No, we have not done a length of the improvement. I mean,
Thank you.
I guess for lack of a better word, I mean, you can't handle it, can always try to find another job, and you never get skilled them to a certain amount.
But do we retain the dog?
Yeah, that's the way the contract set up is, man. And so, well, that's one thing he pointed out to me. BPA actually owns the dog, but we're gonna do it, the agreement says the city owns the dog. And if the handler leaves, we will retain ownership of the dog, so, you know, to me, that's the first agreement. Lively handler.
We don't have that agreement yet.
The MOU, no, that's what we're gonna need to do, because the agreement was signed from the out, the city owns the dog.
Well, that could define was the, due to termination. I mean, we owe the rest of that contract, if you were to be terminated.
Okay, 2 years, yeah, that's what I'm saying, I don't think that's fine, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you call them, they've been through, I think, 3 or 4 canine handlers in a fairly short period of time. You know, at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't want to be here, it's kind of hard to hold them to it, and, you know,
I just want to make sure that we don't get a situation where we're being hostage by a contract.
no,
Yeah.
no, that's fine, you know, to me, it's consider employees at will, I mean, just one of those deals where, what we retain ownership of the dog. But this agreement primarily is to set up the, overtime parameters, which is what we usually get in trouble with, to be honest with you. And so it limits it to what his work is today, 7 days a week for him to be doing his after-hours care. If that doesn't work, then he needs to come back to us and let us know, and then we can figure out how to reconfigure. But the bottom line is that's a fair, reasonable, that's what most of the case law is, 30 minutes per dog, to feed dog, wash the dog, and things like that.
No private security gigs.
So that's,
I mean, it's been a problem, right? So, I mean, we want to make sure that there is no after-hours usage of the canine or private.
It's gotta be city work. It'll be, and that's why I think, you know, we need an MOU to close the loop, because it'll be the city controlled dog.
What is MOU stand for?
Memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
what is Justin's specific cost of training for him to be handling them? Is that, I don't have a contract or anything, but
What is,
how much did it cost to train Justin to handle the dog? I assume he had to have some special.
yeah, he had that special training, which was all paid for with donations.
Okay, just donation.
And he's already undergone that
Yeah, he's
training?
already been around it. The only cost for the city was, travel and hotel.
Moving forward, though, any updates and training, additional,
He has to get recertified every year, which falls under our training budget.
Good budget item.
It's hard, but
Do we have a special vehicle for the?
yes, already outfitted and everything.
so he has the ability to get the either comp time or overtime.
Yes, which right now it's set as overtime. You get 7 hours every pay period, which equals out to 30 minutes a day.
How do y'all, so far, because that's in here as well, how do y'all handle the, purchasing of food and all that? Does he do it, and you get reimbursed, or do y'all just?
No, whenever he needs anything, like, he needed dog food last Monday, I went down to the feed store, I charged it, and I brought the food to the PD, he picked it up.
Just reimbursed?
So,
Yeah.
If there's anything that he needs, such as green beans, toys, anything like that, he has to approach me and, request it, and as long as it's within our budget, we'll get it. And we have $4,500 in that budget line for that,
Yeah.
for food and everything.
He said that, one of the provisions says if it's, to be exceeded with the budget, it needs to go to you as well as the manager, city manager. I guess in this instance, this proposition, wherever that was, failed, that would come to us instead.
Yeah, if I need to do a budget amendment, yes, I'll have to.
Just make sure the wording is right, so.
So, one more question that's kind of related to the last one, but how much would it cost to retrain somebody if Justin does decide to?
We got a discount on this last, on when we went to the training because we purchased the dog through the same person. And so we got a package deal, but I think it's around $5,000-$6,000 for a 2-week training class. Not including meals and hotel. Which they like to take on a river in San Antonio to be the training site, so.
Doesn't mean you have to stay there.
So, well, that was there was only one hotel in that area that allows service dogs in their hotel.
I bet you there's more.
I think
They were both really excellent.
2 years is reasonable, I think.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I make a motion that we authorize action to approve the K-9 handler contract with Justin Amar.
One second.
All in favor?
And I'll have, I want to fix that one deal, send it to me, I'll have him sign it, and I'll forward it
You're
on.
gonna fix the signature line?
I probably will, I'll need to send these, I'll,
Still is the previous.
Yeah.
And you're next on the.
Yeah, like 3 months.
Yeah, city council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve the police cadet program.
Yes. Cadet program, y'all talked about doing a sign-on bonus type deal. I was playing around with the numbers, I think $2,500 is a good sign-on bonus for a 2-year contract. With $1,250 being paid after the first year, and the other $1,250 paid after the second year of service. For this.
You're in the agreements 3.
3, yeah, we haven't touched that.
Okay.
It was one that I think Brownwood had, or that passed him, and so,
And that is the equivalent of what they paid for the
yes,
class.
yes. And doing the cadet program, what I'm trying to do is just hire somebody that's in the academy now, have them be trained while they're going to the academy at the same time, and once they graduate, they'll have a badge, a gun, day one. It will shorten our FTO time, our training time on the end of this, because we can get through a lot of paperwork right now while he's in class, while they're going to class at night. And so when they graduate, the training time will be shortened, we won't have to wait an additional 3 or 4 months before they're out on their own.
Now, this agreement here is basically where we pay the training up front.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's not what you're gonna do?
No, because all the academies right now are going.
So you're gonna pay them what now?
$1,250. After 1 year.
After 1 year, what my cadet program is trying to do, just hire somebody that's in the academy, that passes all the background checks and, you know, is up to our standards what we want. You know, half the time will be spent at the PD, half the time will be spent at the academy. Once they graduate, they will hit the streets and continue on with the FTO training until they're ready to go, which will be shortened.
But you're gonna pay the full 50 at the end of the first year.
Yeah, after the end of the first year, I guess their anniversary date, their hire date, they'll get $12.50. Second year, they'll get additional $12.50.
So you get paid to train with young Wilder at the end?
Yes. Depending on previous, knowledge, between 15 and 15 now. Right now.
Now your existing officers feel up, almost given to the new guy.
I think they're ready for us to hire somebody.
It needs some relief.
Yeah, we need relief, so,
And it's within your budget.
yes.
Right.
Everything, the only thing that's not within the budget is the $2,500. Yes.
You have gone out and put it on the webpage and everywhere else to look for other officers.
Yes.
I know that, and you have not had any response.
I've had 3 applications that have not looked very well. 2 of them were being investigated by the Texas Rangers. The other one was a prior employee. And I actually had one come in yesterday and get an application, and that's 4 in the past almost year that we've been trying to look for somebody.
How long are they gonna be indentured to us? How long are they gonna have to work for us after we do this for them?
2 years.
That's the difference about paying out like you talked about.
Yep.
Still a whole lot of stuff.
So, I mean, we've always been a stepping stone. I've seen officers come and go. I mean, they start off at a small town, they want to move to a bigger town. And I'm okay with that, I don't mind training, but we just need something to catch people's eye.
You could say that about all your officers too, though. You could throw $2,500 bonus on your current, your job description and see what kind of fish you pull into that.
Yeah.
Then you get you, I know what you're saying, the pay sucks, it's probably gonna be really, odd if that were to happen, you get the people you've gotten so far. However, people take pay cuts for the craziest reasons, so there might be somebody out there.
Yeah.
I like the agreement, I'm not saying I don't, just maybe we can look at the second option as well as, hey, maybe we give a bonus.
I mean, that's another thing I wanted to approach. I mean, we can keep this, we'll use the $2,500 for the cadet program, but also look into, police officers that's already licensed to help for like moving expenses or something like that, because a lot of people don't want to move because it costs too much. So, and especially in a small town where, they say that.
So you said the $2,500 was not budgeted. Is there any way that you could do a revision or anything and find the money somewhere?
I do believe with the $2,500, especially being paid out, that it would be paid our next budget year. So
in next year's budget?
in next year, it's not anything that we have to endure right now.
So no amendment needed.
They don't
Right.
So, our next
No,
budget,
that's true.
our next budget meeting will have to where it's set up where we can do this.
Alright.
If, we talk about if we have, one for the cadet, maybe one for a full-time, we go from the best on our budget.
So this is not the agreement that you're going to use, per se. Is that like a sample?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't apply at all.
This doesn't apply?
That's what I was, I think we need to table this until we get this all
So we have it right.
squared away.
You can just basically approve,
We could approve the cadet
Program.
program.
and then we'll get the agreement.
And then depending on the
Right.
contract, your
Right.
agreement.
Right, right. Okay, I think that's.
All we have to do is cut it,
I
copy
like
and
the
paste.
Oh, all of it, okay.
So, I've already got
You
one.
get to us next meeting?
I already got one cadet in the academy that has his application in and waiting on an answer, so.
So just pending all of the finalization of the contract itself, we can go ahead and approve that program.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, we can, it just matter of emailing back and forth, we can probably get it on the next agenda. I'm not looking at,
Most of that agreement is set up to protect us who leaves
Right.
and recruitment, and so really now since we're only paying, after the fact, we won't really get very complicated.
and I'm still looking at about a month out before, because I was working on his background until I get the debt thing approved. And so now I'll start working on his background check and everything, and it's probably be another month before we hire somebody.
But you have someone who needs that.
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
And your next one? City Council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to apply for a grant with USDA Rural Development for the purchase of a new patrol vehicle.
It should be for those
Or two vehicles.
two vehicles. The way the USDA grant worked in the past is that it was a buy one, get one free type deal. You bought one and USDA would buy the other. As far as it's changed, so either they pay half or 55, well, but he told me it was 55%. But if you look in the flyer, Ballinger should be eligible for 75%. 75% grant. So we would only have to come up with 25% of this.
Which the vehicles are about,
Two vehicles, two Tahoes, equipped out is $120,000,
So what's our
and
portion?
what would our portion be?
25% of that.
What is that?
30,000, is that in the budget for this year, or would it not be until next year?
It'd be when we receive the vehicles, which you're probably looking at least 3-4 months out, once you place a order.
And did you put that in the budget already?
No. I tried fighting for more vehicle budget.
We didn't afford it.
Yeah, I know, we couldn't afford it, and we just couldn't put it in there. So there would have to be somewhere, but we find some money. That's all.
Do you have anything against the sedans, like the cars versus the Tahoes?
Oh, yeah, roads.
Roads.
Go ahead, Eric.
We do have Chargers now. They're, sedans are more high maintenance because of the roads, but you can also store a lot more on the SUV, more equipment wise. They're more, just more roomier and more comfortable for the officer. We can carry all our stuff in it. We don't have to. Yeah, our riot gear and our battery ram when we have to knock down doors, stuff like that.
It's been my experience that it takes a lot longer than that to get the vehicle.
It just depends, you know, because at the beginning of your budget year, everybody places in their orders.
Right.
And so,
And they're getting them in May or something.
yeah, and
It's
so,
9 months.
that's because they're just so backed up.
Okay.
Now, once we go through all this and get everything approved, I'm thinking 3-4 months out, they're gonna be slower down, so the production time is gonna be less. That's been my experience with it.
But you still feel like it would be within this year's budget?
Possibly, yes.
Can we delay it and still be eligible for it?
I don't know. I just want to kind of say, if y'all kind of agree on this, then I can move forward and get more
You're looking
details.
for us to approve you writing the grant,
Well,
right?
to seek for the grant.
Right, we don't have to accept the grant.
Right.
Right.
If financially we can't.
We can't do it.
Do our-
So eventually, to me, there's no harm in asking a question.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'm a motion to approve.
One last question.
Oh, sorry.
And so on the grant, do you have to put Tahoe versus Charger, or does it
No.
just?
No, you don't.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Who made the motion?
Jeff. Jeff. Thank you.
Thank
Okay, the city council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve the rural fire protection contract with Reynolds County.
Put y'all on the line.
This stems from a contract that was sent to us in September, that we still haven't signed or agreed upon. Tommy was going to go talk to the county judge. Don't know that that ever happened or not, I wasn't made aware if it was. We were gonna go talk to him, and, I still think that needs to happen, but, the contract, the way it was sent over to us, part 1, section 3, basically says that the city doesn't hold the county responsible for anything, and the county doesn't hold the city responsible for anything. And
Was it damages?
as in damages to equipment, as in just anything. I mean, death, dismemberment, anything like that, you know, that falls underneath other things we have in place on the city side. But on the agreement side of things, I just think it's heavily weighted for the city to take on what's used 90% plus in the county as far as equipment, PPE, and heavily like in the communication side right here. They stopped putting money back for communications after the federal government started giving, or stopped giving money out back in around 2004, 2006. At that time, Sam?
Yeah,
The federal money.
I think it was 2 years.
So, they never commenced putting money back in there. I've tried every angle, every direction. I've tried to come up with what I thought was accommodating deals. It looked like possibly the judge might be open to some more money, but it's up to the commissioners, not him necessarily. And we're getting ready to get all new faces possibly, with the county. So, don't know if that's something we want to take up with the old staff or the new, but right now we're out of compliance as far as we do not have an agreement with the county right now.
So it's just a hold harmless agreement for both entities? Well, before it just said we waive all claims, and now what it says basically they're gonna reimburse us for damages, repairs, and our necessary replacement firefighting equipment, vehicles, and PPE used by cities without fires, including replacement of wear and tear items such as tires, no later than 30 days after receiving reimbursement of the city.
We exceed our budget with the county, by almost anywhere between $55,000 to almost $6,000 for the 10.5 they give us. One of the last minute, items that was added to the budget, for Rick and Christie, the city actually, gave a last minute, addendum to our budget, to buy, Wildland or Tri-Cert here, which is for vehicle extrication of wildland firefighting and structure. So not interior, but exterior. And again, that was something that I thought they should have been responsible for, they weren't. Our gear's out of compliance. We spend every bit of money, or grant money that we can get, and we end up trying to buy the more expensive items with that, which goes to structural firefighting gear being the most expensive, including SCBAs and everything like that.
Of course, that was part of the budget.
Correct.
That was in the budget.
That was in the budget. As a matter of fact, we received the first bill, it's due right, I think right about now. For the PP, the company that we ordered the gear from agreed to buy everything in September, or by the end of September, say 12.5% increase, and basically carry that for us. And then they are doing a 30-day order. Every 30 days, they'll send us 6 sets of gear, and then we'll pay every 45 days.
That's it.
It's gonna be pushing about 11.3.
36.
Didn't we discuss this once before?
No, sir, that's for total.
Yeah, we wanted to, but they declined, I believe.
But I declined.
We've discussed it a lot of times,
Yeah.
Well,
asking the county for more.
Yeah, I've tried to get them to do, more than
More
both.
fun. Asking for 20.
Yeah, we were actually asking them just to double every 3 years, which was very reasonable. And that was basically speaking on behalf of the county as well. In other words, you take 3 smaller towns with the 5 total departments in our county, you double them the first year, take 1 year, double them the second year, and you take us and double us the third year. Everybody else, their odd years, they get what they normally would, which is minimum. I think we're only gonna get like 2,500, miles, 3,500. We can get it, 1,500.
This is what we were discussing with dispatcher stuff. They were asking more for dispatcher, but.
Well, I was just, so it's costing us essentially $17,000 to fight fires for the county, but they're only giving us 10. So I know there's sovereign immunity on some circumstances, but couldn't we just take them to small claims court if they didn't want to?
Our agreement says it's all, right now, that we've signed in the past, that's all we get, period. So if we have an agreement, we can sue them.
Right.
So, yeah, right now, we can't hold it.
We've been down with
vice versa, so.
So right now, we feel,
We can't sue them. But we don't have an agreement right now,
Okay.
so,
So then, what happens then in the event of there not being an agreement in place?
their money,
Possibly.
Bring on that fire stuff.
Or just start sending them a bill for each individual call.
It's an option. Matter of fact, there's companies that overlook that, but I don't know if relationships is where we start, and go from there. Like I said, it's new.
I think with the new names coming in, there's gonna be more than half, I mean, it's not all, but I mean.
I think you have
Commissioners?
Cornelis and,
three, I think.
Cornelis and Vince are the only ones that are running. Everybody else has, basically, we're gonna retire their seat, so.
I mean, there's an opportunity there to rebuild, maybe
Yeah.
try to change minds.
But,
Yes.
And it sounded like the judge had a meeting with him approximately 3 weeks ago, per his request. It sounded like he was open to possibly doing something and working with the commissioners on working towards a goal. And I said, as long as, our deal is it's fine, just pay the bills, but you have to build up some extra money to purchase things that go out of date, go out of service, such as personal protective equipment, hand tools, everything else is just required to put on those trucks to work those kind of fires. So, we have to be able to bank that as well. And, maybe then putting money back, we talked about them having an account with the county, putting money back every year, budgeting it, cap it at a certain amount, that way if anybody needed anything, that money would be there. And then increasing the money as well that they'll give the city, so.
So the judge seems amenable to,
Judge does, but it's commissioner's call. So the judge has always been approachable from the fire side of things. It's the walls that we walk in with them more than the commissioners in as a judge. Maybe that's about being caught back off, but,
The judge has a first responder background.
he's with the call, so he's on one of the committees, and that's on communication.
Used to be a sheriff's deputy, right?
So work with the FBI.
Your recommendation would you make at this point in order to move this forward?
I would say that possibly Buck and I need to approach, or maybe just Buck personally, just meet and greet. And just kind of see, this is kind of my attention, and what's your thoughts, and that way it's just two guys in a room talking. And then if the fire service needs to come in, give their 2 cents, we can do that.
And we need to do it during budget time.
That's what we try to do, trust me. Nothing has never, the excuse has always been, there's always been an excuse. That's the excuse.
What I'm saying is, we're out of compliance with them right now because we don't have an agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So if we stay in this mode, and revisit, then if something happens, we're not gonna get zero.
We're not gonna get it now. I mean, if we did sign a contract, we're not gonna get it.
So we've got 10-5.
Well, we've got the 10-5 that they've already given us, that they'll give us again in October. But,
so this doesn't have a monetary value to it, just approving.
right, well, I think it goes along with the
If
10-5.
we agree to this, then we're agreeing to 10-5.
ten-five is as far as I could look back on the computer.
What's
That is
our,
what we've been paid for the last 17 years is 10-5, except for 2 of the years, which they gave 21,000, I believe.
what's the?
But that had to do with extra federal money.
Usually every 20 years, inflation doubles.
When they get elected. So, yeah, what is that? What's the time frame?
And the next year, at the end of the year,
So whenever our new officials, new commissioners come in, so we
and we
essentially,
can approach them at that time.
we have 8 months left to run out of compliance. And so we're not making money as it is, we're losing money as it is regardless.
So I think the relationship can start at any time.
Well, Robert, if they approve this revised agreement, we're talking about, I mean, could be a lot
So
of.
if they agree with it, they can take 10-5 away, and then they basically, we just give them our bills.
Well,
They may not give us
10-5.
10-5.
It's 10-5 plus, that's what it's,
So we could sign it now, agree to it now, and then you go work your magic, maybe we can bump that number up. That's what I thought. Y'all approved this agreement, authorized Buck and Robert to approach the county with.
We'll catch them while they're running.
Yeah, I mean, Judge is real approach.
We have 10-5 plus.
We'll guarantee, we'll just guarantee our money.
So do we have fractured relationships with them?
It's just a history of not spending, you can look at every surrounding county. Trust me, I played that game. I don't want to be in their pants either because they're worse shape than we are as far as counties go. I've tried to match with Coke and Concho, and when you go and see what those guys get paid, I don't even see how they make it.
we get paid 15 from our county, 12, our fire department's $3 million budget, so. $15,000 a year.
So that's just something we need to work on as a council, of
Relationships with the
Working
courthouse
on
and everything. I think that's open arm right now for that to happen, so.
okay, all right.
Probably at this point, we'll have to approve this and move forward, and Buck, and then can go start, and we can look at for next year.
And that doesn't mean they approve it. This is marked up by us to them, going to them, so. I don't know if it might be that we approve it and then Buck walks in and let's, just sit down and talk first before I slide this across the desk type deal and then kind of move from there.
We have a motion? Was that a motion from you, Rick?
Yes, that'll be
To approve?
fine, I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor? Thank you. City council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve the use of the camping sites behind City Hall for annual chili cook-off on April 24th through the 25th of 2020. We need a group.
You guys stay till the end. You guys stay till the end.
No, I know. Either way.
Okay.
We are doing our second annual show cook-off, with going along with the ethnic festival down in town. I just need approval to take Buck out and utilize that area back there.
You said I was a cook.
He's a cook. But one thing is, you are in our spot, so.
Yeah.
Hey, tough nuggets out there for.
Hey, I'm just saying.
He's got his bowls out.
Yeah. We utilize the city hall for judging area, and we have, cook teams that come out and camp, and we'll just need to utilize the water and electricity out
We're
there.
gonna allow them to camp out there, not just set up.
Yes. I mean, and I'm debating on whether or not to allow them to put campers on the grass area. It's just heavy traffic going back and forth. I don't like that.
Pretty wet last year.
It was pretty wet, so, if y'all allow the campers to be on the grassy area, that's fine. If not, I'm trying to dedicate Park Avenue back there, block it off to have it with.
They got it hooked up.
Well, I mean,
Maybe we should anyway, we should go ahead and just close
that road up.
that road up anyway. That way we have it to use it for whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I will get it done.
I think I put that in the wording, I don't know if you got on the agenda. But to utilize that back area, and we'll use I guess we'll use that or now as a judging area.
You got your budget to repair the grass?
Are we
Charge
charging?
extra for RV slots.
We do charge extra for the water and electricity hookup, so because last year we procured a bill from electricity that we're not expecting, so anybody that uses water or electricity will pay an additional fee for that, so that way we can reimburse the city.
As far as trash and everything goes, though, it wasn't too bad.
No, we got with the chamber, they supplied us with porta potties, extra trash cans, which we might have to go with the chamber on that, which I forgot about that, but.
Wow.
So we want to try to block off Park Avenue?
Yeah, just in between, I mean, I'm not gonna try and block off the motel right there, from maybe the motel to 8th Street, because the law offices will be closed. We're not planning on closing the streets down until 5 o'clock.
Can we approve that on this agenda now? You guys will- Okay, okay.
But y'all can approve us using.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve using behind here.
I second that.
And if anybody wants to be a judge,
All in favor?
I haven't signed it.
I'm just, I mean,
The beans, man, the beans.
champion means what you mean.
Hey,
Champion
The secret spice.
All in favor? Barrett's beans. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You come out food.
I woke up.
What are we making them?
Thank you, Stan.
I don't think they should.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it's staying back here.
City council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve a resolution to allow the Chamber of Commerce to have a parade on April 25th, 2020 in association with the annual ethnic festival. We have a motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
I like that. City council may consider, discuss, and authorize action to approve the following requests of the Chamber of Commerce associated with the annual ethnic festival. Blocking off the vacant lot in the 100 block of South 8th Street, the use of the Pioneer Plaza, and blocking off Strong Avenue between South Broadway and South 7th Street.
You may need to.
Right next door to Musgrove.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, next door to Mike.
yeah, they're gonna utilize it for a point of order.
For the cornhole?
This is something we've done every year.
Okay.
I'll say one.
You make a motion to approve that? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Awesome. Okay, consider approval of building permits? None? Oh, that's good too. Here are the city administrator's bi-weekly report. Mr. Buckley, take it away.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor, council, I've just got a snapshot here of what Benita and I are struggling with. We've got the 200 grand in from sale of equipment, and we're anticipating about 100,000 to be used for replacing the equipment with different items. And so we'll have 100 left. It gives us a total of approximately 360,000. And if you look, Republic has gone down to 84,000 that we owe right now. And we're proposing to pay 48, which is 10% of the 84 plus the regular 40. We're still gonna have to repair the vertical standing pipe. The bids will be, I believe, later on in the month. I'll have to look and see when they are for that. In February. We still have the truck payments to make of 29 grand. If you'll notice, the John Deere Traco or excavator has gone up. We're behind 5 payments. This is just one. This will catch us up with the payments. The payoff on it is around 130. They were going to offer us 124 for the trade-in of the Traco for all that other equipment. And now they're saying we need to re-look at our deal because we're only going to trade in for one piece of equipment. So we won't, I'll bring it back to you guys and say, hey, is 115 enough or whatever they offer us. That's the situation there. We still need a smooth drum roller. something to trade it in on, so that's what we picked. And so there'll be a payment on the smooth run roller, but it won't be crushing payment that the excavator has. You can see the bond payment, we have still to contribute any more to the bond payments. And the rest of the, regular accounts payable, we're able to contribute 49,000 toward. Now, none of this includes the 398,000 that I just got from Avalon taxes. I went over there and got it from, Benita sent them in there, I got it. So this doesn't include the 398, so next time around, we will have paid, and we'll have to see what we can pay, because we always have to cover payroll, we have to cover all the other expenses, but hopefully, we can get rid of Republic, because you want to pay your cost of goods sold first, which is trash and water. And you're current on Abilene, we need to pay some engineering fees for the pipeline of about 5,800 or so. So those things, in my opinion, need to be paid first. So, and then we pay the other accounts payable. So it's looking better.
So that water tax you just got,
Is not included in this because I just went over there and went over, got it.
yeah, but that's fine. Some of that ad valorem tax will be going towards,
The bond.
the bond.
Yes, all of it.
Yeah, debt service.
To satisfy all that amount, right?
Yes, ma'am, to set aside another 228, hopefully, we have to check. I mean, we have to see what we can pay, but we would like to forget about the bond first and then do the cost of goods sold. Yes, that's true.
But it's looking much better.
A lot better. A lot better. Thanks, Barry. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you for that. I was very optimistic to hear that report. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll hear requests for future agenda items from the city council.
I don't know if we need to, I don't know what it needs to be, but I think we need to look into setting up our own tow service in this town for us, for the city of Ballenger. We had a vehicle this weekend, that was towed by our local people here, $500 for 1 day in storage, is what they're charging. We get a fraction of that. We're having to generate a revenue stream. Spoke with Barrett, we have what we
Wait
need.
just a minute until they finish.
Oh, I thought they
I
were.
don't think they're hearing what you're saying.
Sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Bob.
I was trying to help.
Yeah, no, it's fine. What'd you miss? Anybody?
I didn't, they didn't discuss what you were talking about, I don't know.
Okay, what I was getting at is I think we need to implement a towing service into the city of Ballenger.
It'd be like a city going up.
A city towing.
Instead of calling winners.
Instead of calling winners, we don't, like I said, they towed a vehicle with single storage for 1 night was $500. So I mean, if we can get any of that kind of revenue here in this town, we're good to go. Barry said we have generally most of what we need. I think we're.
We have, well, it was a record yard one now.
When you look at the lot.
Most of the fence still there, we have to repair some of it. We have most of the material we can use to make it work again.
You know, when I was a kid, John Moore was doing that.
Yeah, in general, we can't run a private business, so to speak. I mean, our charter, we have to look to our charter for what we can do. That's really not running a private business.
It really wouldn't be a private business, but it'd be for the it'd be city
City towing.
operated.
Well,
If
are
it's
you
not
talking
city
just
operated-
towing for just the city, you mean?
Yeah,
So not towing any other vehicle?
No, say they pull some over and impound somebody, they call our truck to get it.
Yeah, not just cruising around picking stuff up, but being called.
No, it'd be just a city rate deal with all the
Your own city. Yeah, that's no different running your own service center.
Is the one in Winners, is it privately owned or is it
It's
owned by the
private.
city?
Winners auto.
It's,
Yeah,
yeah,
private.
probably, like,
Let's do it.
I just use it as an example because it's an exorbitant amount of money, obviously, if we can get some of that
Pound.
for here, then yeah.
Any kind of seizures, anything's like a question now.
Or do we just have our own yard and we have a contract with those other places and how?
That's what it is,
Take them to our
we give them the
yard.
business, yeah, then that'll work too, that'd be an option.
Yes.
I have looked into this before, with the impound yard, it has to be 100% secured
Yep.
and manned at all times.
Yep.
The only way you can get away from it being manned all the time is a secured camera security system.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
So, that, I mean, it doesn't, but you gotta make, I mean, the area he's talking about does need to have a high fence, barbed wire and all that
So you
stuff.
already had high fence around 3/4 of it,
Yeah,
but then we've had stuff to tear it off, the block it off or
yeah.
anything.
These are just.
It's something look at.
Some folks going.
Yeah,
Okay.
just another review.
You want it on the agenda for next time?
Well, I'll tell you what, how about we give them opportunity to gain information, what's required, and then we'll bring it back up.
Fence, razor wire, jersey, barriers.
Pretty good.
Karen's.
I like that idea, I just don't like the idea of government competing against private citizens, you know, when they're having to, but it's winners, but when they're having to pay taxes to compete against themselves.
A lot of times it's on a rotation basis.
But this would.
Granted, it's only gonna be used for the city, so.
We wouldn't have to fall into rotation.
I mean, we just call.
I would say more impounds or vehicle, it's just like, the wreck, say you choose, right, or
Yeah, the record, I mean, if it's a wreck,
people
then,
would choose,
the
but
people will choose.
DWI, we can
we take
take
it
them
home.
all off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if two people have an accident, it's their option whether or not they want a record, or they can drive it home, or however they want to do it. They can call AAA and get their own record, so to speak.
A drug bust, for instance, picking
Yeah,
up.
really good, everything is awesome.
But, I think we should do more research. Just want to put it out there.
We have to put on there for the, blocking off park,
Park Avenue,
That's right.
for the cook-off.
I say 600 to 800 block.
How would we look at looking into the E-rate system?
What was the E-rate?
That was the,
That was
government provided. was it
Like a
Wi-Fi
subsidy
Technology.
grant.
See if there's ability for a city entity to get that as well.
And I spoke to Matthew Seymour, and he knows all this about E-rate, so he said he would get some information for us. So, he deals with E-rate
Yeah.
every day,
Fact finding, so that's what we.
so he can get us some information, just so that we can move forward.
So we can use Agenda to practice.
Agendas.
Right.
Yes.
How'd you know what I was gonna say?
Oh,
We have agendas in place.
We've got it updated, we've got Debbie taken off and Anita put on the secretary line. And we've got a consent agenda, yay.
Explain the consent agenda, so in case they come
Okay.
back next, meeting time,
Let me
and they
just-
think we're trying to,
Hide something.
yes.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll go through this agenda, and for regular occurring items or things that are self-explanatory, it'll be up in one area, and the city council can either approve or disapprove of all the items in the consent agenda. In other words, regular recurring things that don't really require a lot of background or explanation that recur over and over and over.
Like a grade.
Yeah, like bumping me off and and stuff like that. So, we've got,
So we'll cut down on your time of sitting out here and listening to us.
let's say we put,
Unless we need a discussion.
say we put a fire truck on there, and one of the council during the meeting wants to discuss it more, then you have the option of moving it down to new business, okay? And if you leave it there, then the whole list that's in the consent agenda is approved at one time. Anything you take down goes into new business. So, that's up and running, I think it'll be ready for the next meeting, hopefully. Agenda's in running.
There's a few abandoned houses, I know, Linda Bryan donated a house that burned down to the city. I don't feel like there's any reason to keep those on the books any longer than we have to, and it's also a safety hazard. For
That's the one with
children. It's burned down, it doesn't look structurally sound. If we, and other houses like it, that's the only one I personally know about, just because I know Linda. But find those houses, tear down the ones that need to be torn down, and by selling them, get some more income from those, instead of just letting them sit there, doing nothing.
We've been underway,
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah,
Pretty
we are.
much down there, yeah. I think he's looking at getting one on Eighth Street. It's a big,
We're gonna start pointing out down there quick. We got that one, we got one on 10. That needs to go. There's one down here somewhere.
I don't know much.
I'd like to get them sold too, that way they're not.
They got a burner.
Clear.
We have offers. Trust me.
That was something we discussed on our Saturday thing, is to go to go through our list of properties that we own and start offloading those, selling those.
I'd like to put next link on the next agenda, so we can all get up to speed on what's happening there.
Okay.
And also, I don't recall, for some reason or other, I didn't write it down, what was the status on doing the school zones?
We tabled it.
Tabled it due to financial reasons for
I
the
couldn't remember whether we tabled it or what we did.
yeah, because of the cost of the signage is why we tabled it.
So, and then we need to do some, this is some stuff's been hanging out. We need to find out what's gonna happen with the dog park. We spent a lot of money tearing up that, taking up that old putt, and school was going to go in there and do all this stuff with the dog park. It hasn't happened, so we need to get something moving in there, or they not.
Somebody come to me the other day, I can't remember who it was, said that they're asking me about the equipment. We have it all down here. Everything's been ordered so far, and they said they're supposed to get going on.
Yeah, we discussed it at Rotary because we had
Oh, wow.
applied for those grants and gotten some grant money as well that they needed to spend for us to give it to them. You know, so they've got the money spent now, so they're planning on starting it up soon. But Laura Brown is the one from the high school that's kind of
We just,
red-rotting that.
we just need to see if they can't get some action going and start making some showings, because everybody's asking. I thought we was going to the golf course, sitting down there doing nothing.
I know they've been talking about it, so.
Yeah.
She's one over there, I'll talk to her.
Next Link is coming by to talk. The agreement was for 20 years of free service. I wish this gentleman, Fiber Optic, had come before that deal was signed, because that's gonna be screaming fast on everything.
Did we sign that with Next Link? That is,
Yeah, we haven't gotten back with them so that we could get our stuff up and running. It's gonna take about 6,000 for equipment, phones and other things.
We have other learning curves going on right now.
Yeah, I really wish we could have got the fiber optic. It's gonna be,
But that was gonna save us about $13,000 a year.
yes.
I was spending $6,000, and we're going.
Then we'll start saving money.
$13,000 a year savings.
Yes.
With those being internet-based on the phone, how much is your new IT company gonna be involved?
That's a good point. We need to talk to them. And if it's gonna be voice over IP, we need to talk to them. That's true. Good point.
Because that's gonna be an hourly rate at that point.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that fiber. Don't know where this went, but it's just another thing that just kind of got. We were actually going to make some signs to put out the lake. This, of course, this needs to be revised now, because I think we were talking about $20 instead of $15, but,
But we need to put that on the agenda to increase the
that's
rates.
what I'm gonna say, put it on the
Yeah.
agenda for us to
To increase
discuss
the
and increase the rate for, and put out the sign,
yes,
get the signs made.
increase the rate and make signs.
Termination, basically.
Nobody's talked to me about it.
What's the agreement?
I told me ordered something, the dog park, I put those on hold and
We made no progress.
like.
What's gonna do that?
We don't have to use their service. What it is they can use their towers for in exchange for us getting the service. We don't have to just accept their service. We can just let them go for free on the tower. That's the disappointing part, is having on the tower for no consideration.
And that's usually expensive.
I was just curious, did you limit me about the, yeah, I want to library. I mean, you look at it,
But it's 2020 hindsight. They didn't
Yeah.
know at the time.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
second, do we have a second?
I see.
Okay, all in favor?
Ah.
Adjourn, meeting is adjourned, thank you, everyone.